The next bit I want to touch on praying without qiyam for someone who has an excuse, has a reason. Okay? Like the hadith of Imran bin Hussein, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him, pray standing, if you can't, sitting down. If someone is at the Ahnaf, I'm just going to go through the madhab of Hanafis here. Ahnaf, they say, point number one, if you are unable to stand, then qiyam is not fard on you. If you are unable to stand, qiyam is not fard in that case. And you are excused. You should pray sitting and sit whichever way you can. The best way is the tashahhud way if you are able to, but whichever way you sit down, you sit like cross-legged, or your salah is fine, or you can spread your leg forward, whichever is easy for you. Now, all these point is related to other madhahib, not agreeing to it. So, they say if you are unable to stand, qiyam is not fard on you anymore, you are excused, you may sit down and pray the way which is easy for you basically. Yeah, they are very easy on the subject. That's the first point. And if you note all of them down, it'll be a good comparison. Okay. If a person cannot do, the second point, if a person cannot do sujood or ruku, meaning he can stand, but he cannot bend down, he cannot do ruku. So who is whispering? If a person is standing and is able to stand, but he cannot do ruku or sujood, there are different scenarios coming, so stay with me. He can stand but cannot do ruku and can't do sujood. His obviously that's all he can do. So he will stand and he will nod with his head for ruku and sujood. Okay? Because لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Actually, the hadith of Imran bin Hussein, when it finishes at the end, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Okay? That's the second point. Now, what if a person cannot do sajda, meaning he can't do sajda on the floor? Okay? There is a hadith. Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, this is very, the hadith is for, you see this bench? If a person cannot do sajda, he must not do sajda on something high or pillow. If he can do on the floor, he will do, or otherwise he will not do gestures. It is not allowed. Hadith is from Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu. عاد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مريضا فرآه يصلي على وسادة فرمى بها وقال صل على الأرض إن استطعت وإلا فأومي إيماء واجعل سجودك أخفض من ركوعك أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is in Bayhaqi, and it's a good narration. Okay, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited a person who was sick or unwell. So he saw him praying and on wisada, like a pillow, yeah, meaning sajda on that. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam threw it away and told him, pray on the earth, or if you can, if not, gesture and make your sajda more lower than your ruku. The gesture for the sajda should be more lower than the one for the ruku. Okay? So if a person can do the qiyam, the opposite of the previous example, but cannot do ruku and sujood, yeah? It's not the opposite. I think I only gave one example so far. Yarhamukallah. But what if a person is unable to sit down? We are still in Hanafi madhab. What if a person is unable to sit down? Then they say he will lie down. He will lean on the bed, on a pillow, whatever because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if pray standing, if not sitting, if not lying down. So he'll lie down. Okay. The other madhahib, they have different tafasir on lying down, but the Ahnaf, they say his feet is spread forward towards the Qibla. Astaghfirullah. Qibla ki taraf paun. Some people don't like that. But they say this is the right way, that a person, his feet should be towards the Qibla, facing towards the Qibla, lying down. But they say lying down on the right is better towards Qibla, all his body. If he can't do that, on the left, and if he can't do that, he should be on his back. Okay? And if he can't do that, okay, meaning he can't even do that, then he should just nod his head, just pray with his, yeah. And if he can't do that, he will delay his prayer. He cannot pray just, if he can't even do that, cannot make any action, then he won't just pray in his heart and with his eyes. Yeah, there is no, then he will delay the salah and he will pray the qada salah. Obviously, then that starts another chapter, and the ulama, they don't agree on if a person has been in this situation for a day, 2 days, he's been in hospital or under medicine, that's an easy issue he can make up. But what about a person he's been like this for years and months? All right. If a person is unable to pray, but he is conscious, we have already discussed the subject of being unconscious. What did they say about unconscious Hanafis? Anyone? They said he'll make up 5 salahs, yeah? Some even say 6 salahs. We say 5 salahs. Day and a night he'll make up. But if a person, that's for unconscious. A person is conscious. A person is conscious, but is unable to. He can hear you and he can understand. He can understand. So that person, if he can understand what is being said, the salah is then fard on him. And every salah that he doesn't pray is qada. But the fatwa of the madhab is, when he is able to, he'll pray 5 salahs, a day and a night. Yeah? He'll make up that much. Now an interesting one. Okay? A person who is unable to do ruku and sujood. Ahnaf say he will pray sitting down. He won't do qiyam. This was personally for me is, I have to spend a lot of time on these sort of masail, because naturally some people are inclined towards a different understanding. But the Ahnaf, they say if one cannot do sajda or ruku, now when you see the Malikis, they don't agree with that. We'll cover that inshallah today. They say if a person cannot sit down, he can stand. He can do qiyam, but he can't do ruku or sujood. Okay? It's best for him. I'm not saying he shouldn't, but it's best for him to sit down and pray. He can stand and nod. But if you sit down and pray, it's better for him. That's afdal. Because they say the qiyam is only a rukun because it's a wasila for sujood. Sujood is the asal. So when you are on your donkey, and praying nafil, they don't say you can pray sitting down for fard, by saying this is for ma'dhur, someone who can't. If you are sitting down for your nafil on a donkey, I say donkey because hadith says donkey or mule, or on your ride. That sitting down, you don't do sajda, you do imam. So you don't do qiyam either. It's not that they're saying that you shouldn't do qiyam. They're saying the fardiyah of the qiyam is gone. It's not fard anymore. That's the madhab. They say that it is not fard anymore. And there may be other reasons the ulama would have discussed. But for them, the qiyam is the real of salah is sujood. And the qiyam and ruku. So qiyam is the one who takes you to ruku, and sujood, then you get back up for ruku and sujood. So because you're not doing ruku and sujood, they say if you sit down and pray, your salah is fine. It is not fard for you. Maybe I didn't say it properly first. It is not fard for you. So, and then they say it is afdal for you to sit down and pray. Because if you are unable to do ruku, you have to sit on the chair or something, sit to do the gesture for ruku and sujood. So by sitting there, you are already there. So when you are standing, Imam goes in ruku and you sit down. So you're not following the Imam. You went against the Imam. Imam went down and you went this way down. Imam did ruku, but you didn't do ruku, so you sat down. So that's not following the Imam either. So they dislike it. They don't say it's wrong. It's disliked that you were standing with the Imam, so you can't do ruku anyway from that position. So you should sit down and pray like you are allowed to pray. Because for the same hadith we said earlier, if the one can't stand, he should sit and pray. So if you can sit and pray, why stand and pray? If you can't do ruku and sujood in the first place. Yeah? But if a person is perfectly fine and he's praying, and during the salah something happens and he loses the ability to stand anymore, or he feels pain in the back or something, he should continue the salah and build from it wherever he was, sit down and continue if he can. He doesn't need to come out of his salah. If he was standing and he can't stand anymore, he should sit down and then start doing justice from there on. Okay? This is for someone who hadn't planned it. If a person hadn't planned, if he already knew I cannot do ruku and sujood, they say he should sit down. But if you were standing and then he realized I can't stand anymore, he just changes this, and then he stays in that position and just does whatever. Even though the both masala are not really linked. What if someone regains the ability? He was sitting down and then he regains the ability to stand up during salah. He would stand up from there on. Okay? Yeah. Okay, this is everything I want to talk about Qiyam on Hanafi madhab. Someone tell me time, because otherwise we will be here for ages. These masail, subhanAllah, you can just go on and on and on because scenarios don't finish. The main thing is, you know, another thing is if you're praying on a chair. If you're praying on a chair and you're sitting down, like I'm sitting here, if I put the back of my chair with the people's feet, then my shoulders are in line with the shoulders. But if I stand in front of the chair, I'm outside the saf. So if that's the case, Ahnaf say you better sit down. You shouldn't stand because you're breaking the saf. This is you understand? Or if you say no, I'm going to put my chair back to the next saf and I'm going to stand with the people, then you're making trouble for the guy behind. Where is he going to do sajda on your chair? Yeah. But this is on people's view of life, how they see what's better. No one is saying one is right, one is wrong. Everyone's trying to get to what would be the most logical and best way.